What's up, you guys? It's your boy Felipe, and today we're going to be talking about Ryan Pineda's video. I'm going to read it right off the caption. Am I spending too much as a Christian? Millionaire habits. Let's get into it. Alright guys, before we get started, like I always request, please hit that like button, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We have to talk about this video. And excuse the aesthetic background that you're so used to. I'm actually in my RV. But I could not stop to make this reaction video to Ryan Pineda's I'm a millionaire and as a Christian I get hate, right? Guys, I love Ryan Pineda. He's a really cool guy. We have some communication. On my end, I call him a friend. On his end, I don't know. But he's a good guy. We text every now and then. We DM. He's got a beautiful family. But I'm going to be critiquing this video, and I'm going to be a little harsh. I'm going to tell you right now, stick through to the end, because number 4, I don't agree with. There's 5 things that I'm going to critique about this video, and 1, I disagree. So let's get right into it. Right as soon as Ryan Pineda starts. It's funny because in a lot of his videos, again, this is not a hate video. I love Ryan. He's an awesome dude, but I want to fairly critique him from a Christian to a Christian. I love the guy. So let's get it. Right as soon as I watch the video, I'm used to him doing all these and all these type of motions, but in this video, he's like this. He's in this psychological position where he's hunched over. He's humble, right? He's giving that persona. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, great video, Ryan, but you're milking it, bro. I love you to death. All right, so the first part about this video, he talks about like 5 to 8 things about like being a Christian and having a ton of money and how some people judge him and all that. But I want to talk specifically about 5 of those things. And one of the first things that jumped out with me was his tithing, right? He says that, he gets a lot of questions about being a Christian and having money. But one of the things that he says he stays true to is tithing. And that's very important as a believer. When you have money, you have to tithe, right? The Bible doesn't talk about not tithing. It actually talks about in Malachi 3:10 that when you tithe, this is so a lot of people say, oh, well, God says don't test him. But actually in Malachi 3:10, the Bible, God's talking about testing him with your finances and seeing if he doesn't overflow your barns, right? So in this part, he says he's faithful to tithing, and he believes all Christians should be as well. I totally agree with him on this one. Whether you have $1 bajillion or $10, you should tithe, to the church. That's a Bible believing church. And God talks about that. He will take care of you. And I strongly believe that. I've yet to meet a Christian who tithes regularly and is hurting. Never seen it. Just to be real. If you know one, let me know. Number 2, let's move right along. He talks about family, working, and faith, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, well, you're a Christian, you shouldn't be a millionaire. But what he says is that he has a schedule for his family as well as work and faith, right? So if you're a millionaire, but what he does is he says that he has a certain schedule that he works 9 to 5 or 10 to 6, I can't remember, morning with his family and weekends with his family. And then Sundays are obviously church and Wednesday evening Bible study. If you follow my man's Ryan Pineda, he definitely has his Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday that he does it. I can't remember actually. It might be Tuesday nights, but he has a Bible study at his office, which I think is pretty cool. And he talks about giving time to his family, time to work, and time to faith as a Christian. These are the things that are important, and he's able to build his wealth around that. If you're a little lost, think about Chick-fil-A. They honor Sunday as the Lord's Day and only work Monday to Saturday, right? So Ryan's saying he also sets time apart for his family, his faith, and work, and he's successful at it. So as a Christian, is it wrong to be a millionaire? He says not if you're tithing and not if you're putting family first, or God first, family, and then work, and prioritizing those times. So huge shout out to Ryan. Stay tuned, guys. Number 4, I don't agree with. Number 3 here, though. What % below your means are you living? This was a hard one for me to understand, and let me explain why. Guys, I'm looking at the video, and I can't get over that Ryan's like all hunched over and being all humble in his video. I love the guy, but that's funny. Anyways, so what % below do you... So a lot of people are like, oh, you're a millionaire, you shouldn't be that way as a Christian, right? You shouldn't drive a Tesla or have a house on the mountain or all these things. But it's interesting because let's say his business gives him $1 billion a year. I'm sure it doesn't yet. Shout out, eventually it might will, but it doesn't yet. And he's only living on $1 million a year. That's a very low percentage that he's living on of his income, right? And when I thought about it that way, it made a lot more sense, right? He says, what percent below your means are you actually living? Are you living on 100% of your income? That would not make you a good steward of the finances that the Lord has given you. Now, if you are a steward of the money that the Lord has given you and you're giving away 10%, you're only living on 20, 30, 40, whatever percent your heart feels okay with, and the rest you're saving, either giving, saving, or whatever, then you're being a good steward, right? Because God doesn't say a percentage per se that you have to live on, but he's being a good steward by saying he's living below his means, and that means different for people. My means could be $300,000 a year and I'm living on 100,000. Ryan's could be 500 million and he's living on 5 million. That's way below his means. And who's actually being a better steward percentage wise if he's living on less percentage than I am, right? So that clicked when he said that. Number 4. His mountain home is inspiration. Buddy, I think that's reaching. I think you're reaching. This is what I don't agree with. He says that his mountain home is inspirational, right? That he is okay with his mountain home because it's inspiration to other people to watch this video, to follow him, you're reaching, bro. You're reaching. I think you should have just come out and said, bro, I'm getting a mountain home. I don't care. Like, it is what it is. It's a beacon of light or something, right? That's what I would have said. I don't agree with this one. I don't think that he should have said that one. His mountain home is going to be inspiration to other people. I disagree. You're starting to sound like those preachers that fly private jets and talk about it's the Lord's will, right? I love you, buddy. It's a joke, but yeah, I don't agree with that one. And number 5, he says that God has a purpose, So God has a purpose for everyone, including millionaires. And this one did make a lot of sense to me because he says, and I agree, that there is some that are called to be missionaries, some that are called to be pastors, and yes, some are called to be entrepreneurs to fund pastors, fund missionaries. Somebody's got to be at home doing the work, right? God has a purpose for every person's life, and some people just have abundant living, and that's okay. And I completely agree. As an entrepreneur, I feel like that's what God has for my life, right? So those are my 5 things. As a believer, is it okay to be a millionaire? The 5 things that I took out of Ryan's video is: are you tithing? Are you spending your time with family, faith, and work? What percentage below your means are you actually living? Your mountain home? I think you're reaching there, Willow Wody. And God has a purpose. I completely agree. I think God has a purpose for every person's life. Now, the last takeaway that I got from this video was that Ryan said he has joy when he's poor and joy when he was rich. The key factor to being a millionaire, not a millionaire, is being in the kingdom and having joy. Ryan, great video, my man. I love it. I still think it's funny that you're hunched over being all humble, and I don't agree with your mountain home being an inspiration. I think you should have just said it. You're buying it because you love it, and no one should care, bro. Kudos to you. Great video. If you haven't watched it, the link's below. You should watch it. Thanks, guys. Remember, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe.